विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यनिजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ वर्स् 215 ज्ञात्वा सदा तत्त्वनिष्ठान् अदुमोदामहे वयम् अनुशोचाम एवान्यान् न भ्रान्तैर्विवदामहे। So verse 210 to 246, in these verses Vidyaranya analyzes the one part of a Mahavakya called Asi, which is Jiveshwara Aikyam. So first we apply for Aikyam the Vachyartha, Tat Pada Vachyartha and Tvam Pada Vachyartha, and then we find that Aikyam does not take place because they have a diagonally opposite attributes and therefore equation is not possible. And therefore we will have to go for a Lakshyartha. And Upanishad also, to talk about this Aikyam, ultimately gives several examples also. Like in Chandogya, it has 9 times, right? Tattvamasi, Aitadatma Vidagam Sarvam, Sa Atma, Tattvamasi Shvetaketo, Aitadatma Vidagam Sarvam, Etadatma, Eshaha Atma Yasya. The whole thing is basically Idam. Idam is Atma. Any Idam is Atma ultimately. So Atma is essence of everything. That Atma which is essence of everything, which is the Adhishthanam of everything, which is cause of everything, material cause, right? Karanam is essence of Karya. Karanam is only called Atma, basically. Essence is called Atma, truth is called Atma, etc. etc. Upadana Karanam is Atma, Adhishthanam is called Atma, same thing. Anyway, because these words we keep on, using one or the other because you don't get bored. Otherwise, if you use one word all the time, you get bored. So we'll change. So we feel, oh, what a big, sometime he says Satyam, truth. Sometimes he says Adhisthana. Sometimes he says material cause. Sometimes he says etc. etc. So, essence. So ultimately it is one thing. And therefore, basically, Aitadatma Vidagam Sarvam. Idam Sarvam Eshaha Atma. Idam Sarvam Atma. Idam Sarvam Eshaha Atma. Idam Sarvam Eshaha Atma. That Atma Tattvamasi. That Tat is Tvam. So the cause of the entire creation, the essence of the entire creation, ultimately is yourself. So that is the equation. 9 times, Uddalaka repeated that thing. So Upanishad basically struggles to communicate this Aikyam to us. So we can't neglect. Even though the opposite attributes are there in Jiva and Ishvara, and therefore they cannot be one, if we feel so, but then we should take the Upanishadic statement very seriously because 9 times it is Uddalaka is telling to Shvetaketu that ultimately there is no there is no separation between Jiva and Ishvara. So Upanishad is struggling, and therefore there is a seriousness in that, and therefore, so we apply Bhagatyaga Lakshana, and from Jiva three components and Ishvara's three components, which is cause for the difference between them, has been negated. Negated because they are subject to negation. Ultimately, they are mithya. And so we do that Bhagatyaga Lakshana, and we arrive at Aikyam. We appreciate the Aikyam. And Aikyam does not mean this Jiveshwara Aikyam. Oh, therefore this Jiva and Ishvara's union take place. No, there is no union. There is no union here. Jiveshwara Aikyam is Jiveshwara Aikya Jnanam. That they are one. They are one. Essentially, that Jnanam takes place. There is no union here. No union. Two things are there, but now they become one. No, there is no question of becoming one. To begin with, they are one. In your understanding, they are different. That is called ignorance. Due to ignorance, you feel they are different. Otherwise, they are one alone. And therefore, basically, so Aikya Jnanam, Jiveshwara Aikyam is not union of Jiva and Ishvara. It's a knowledge of an identity between the two. That is the thing. Anyway, so, Jiva essentially and Ishvara essentially, they are, from the reality standpoint, they are one alone. So, Tvam Pada we called Lakshartha and Tat Pada Lakshartha because we did Bhagatyaga Lakshana, and we removed a certain components, certain part from the Vachyartha, from both the sides. So, we arrived at a Lakshartha. So, that after this comprehension of Aikyam, then we have to derive certain corollaries, certain hidden ideas we have to extract from this discussion. So Vidyaranya basically now concentrates on that, and so when we remove this particular two parts from Jiva and Ishvara basically and retain one part, then the question was, why do we negate these two portions or two parts from both the sides and retain only one part? So because from standpoint of these two portions there is a Bheda actually, and from the third component there is a Bheda basically. So that means from standpoint of two parts, well, Jiveshwar Bheda is there, and if it is we should accept it. Suppose somebody says from the two standpoint, because Jiva is basically avidya, reflecting medium upadhi, and then reflected consciousness, and then consciousness Brahman or Kutastha rather, and from Ishvara also, well, Maya upadhi, reflecting medium, then reflected consciousness, Chidabhasa, Ishvara, and then definitely Brahman, consciousness, original consciousness they call. Anyway, so these three components are there, but two components are there from that standpoint. There is a Bheda between Jiva and Ishvara. Yeah. So, and from third component, Abheda, Kutastha and Brahman, they are one alone, and therefore let us accept Bheda and Abheda both. Why should you negate some? Because it's the majority. So basically, if Abheda is also there from one standpoint, and Bheda also is there from another standpoint. Ultimately, in Jiva's definition, all these things are there, all the three are there. In Ishvara's definition, all the three are there. So let us accept from these two standpoints, well, there is a Bheda between Jiva and Ishvara. From the third standpoint, there is a Bheda. From the standpoint of Kutastha and Brahman, they are one alone. So Abheda. So, well, basically, let us accept Bheda Bhedavada. Let us accept Bheda Bhedavada. Why we said, well, basically, this because see, if they say if you stress on only Bheda, then definitely your knowledge of Jiva and Ishvara is incomplete. If you stress on Abheda, then also your Jiva and knowledge of Jiva and Ishvara is incomplete, because all the three components are there, And therefore, if you basically stress on all the three components, then there is a complete knowledge. You just stick to one point only, and other 2 points you ignore. So that should not be there. So stress, if you stress only on Veda from two standpoints, then you are ignoring the third. Then your knowledge of Ishvara and Jiva both are incomplete actually. And here also, if Abheda you stress, then definitely then also it is incomplete. And therefore, let us take Veda Bhedavada, accept all the three portions from both, three parts from both the sides. So then we have to handle them. We can't negate such Veda Vedavadi also. The problem can be solved by only one strike, and that is that is Veda is Mithya. That's all. And so Veda Mithyatvam has to be dealt with. So you can't just say that Veda is Mithya, because first you have to show the Upadhis are Mithya. Clear? First you have to show Upadhis are Mithya, and therefore Veda based on Upadhi is Mithya. Then, so this is how we have to say the four things we will have to ultimately prove. 4 points are there. And so this is a Jiva Ishwar Mithyatvam by Vidyaranya has been shown from 4 standpoints. So Upadhi and their Vedas are Mithya. Upadhi is Mithya and therefore Vedas are Mithya. Then in Upadhi the Pratibimba also is there, right? So Upadhi Pratibimbita, Avidya Pratibimbita Chaitanyam or Maya Pratibimbita Chaitanyam. So that Pratibimba also are Mithya, and therefore Pratibimba Veda also is Mithya. And therefore Upadhi are Mithya. So Veda based on Upadhis are Mithya. Clear? And then basically this Upadhi Pratibimbita, Upadhi are Mithya of course. But then Upadhi Pratibimba is all Mithya, and therefore Upadhi Pratibimbita Veda like Jiva and Ishvara also are Mithya. So we can't gloss over. So we have to dwell upon this Jiva Ishvara Mithyatvam. We have removed that only two. So this Upadhi is Mithya and therefore Upadhi Veda is Mithya, etc. But we have to literally dwell upon that. And of course this Jiva Ishvara Mithyatvam, etc. can be assimilated from the standpoint of Kutastha Brahma Abhinna Chaitanya. So from the standpoint of reality only you can say something is Mithya. Otherwise you can't say. And so standing upon this Satya Abhinna Chaitanya, that is Kutastha and Brahma Abhinna Chaitanya, we have to relook into this Jiva who is a suffering a samsari, Ishvara who is a karma phaladata, and and etc. etc. We have to look it from that standpoint, then only we'll find them Mithya. So whole phenomena we have to relook from this Advitiya Chaitanya. Either you say Kutastha or Brahman. So they are just difference in words only. And when we do that, all of them are brushed aside as another dream, basically. It's like a dream. In dream also several Vedas are there. So the dreamness of the dream, the unreality of the dream will be swallowed by only from a higher step pedestal called Vaker, right? Same way, so here also now Jiva is also a dreamer, Ishvara is also like a dreamer, or they are part of the dream. 14 lokas are also part of the dream, and all are knocking about, is in the dream. All these things we can say like that only if we relook upon this whole thing, Jiva, Ishvara and Jagat, 14 lokas, etc., from the standpoint of a Advitiya Brahman. So Vidyaranya is looking into now Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara Mithyatvam from this Kutastha standpoint, Advitiya Chaitanya standpoint, or from a reality standpoint, or from a Paramarthik drashti, or from a Paramarthik standpoint, you can say. So first point he says all these are from standpoint of a Maya that he has already told in 214. If you see, it has been told that Jiveshayoho Maikayoho. And therefore Vrutha eva kalaham yayuhu, etc. Jiveshayoho Maikayoho. All these are product of Maya only. So if you miss this Paramarthika Satyam and go on analyzing Jiva, Ishvara and Jagat, etc., then you will have many unanswered questions. And that is there, they are there. In a philosophy they are there, in a common parlance also it is there. If we are not philosophers, suppose now we say we have entered into philosophy, but we are not basically philosophers. We definitely try to gain a vision of a Vedanta, but we basically are not philosophers. And we are in a common parlance also, we have this unanswered questions regarding all the three. What is Jagat? We don't know. And so regarding any part of the Jagat, any part of the Jagat, we can't answer that this is like this only. Regarding Ishvara also like that. Now we know, but of course otherwise. And therefore regarding Ishvara, regarding individual, there are several unanswered questions. Several. And regarding Jagat, cause of the Jagat, etc. also there are several unanswered questions. And the questions are like this. When did Jiva arise? Then when did this Ishvara create? Why did he create? How did all these things begin? How did all these things begin? When? And why? How? All are unanswered questions. If you don't know the Adhishthanam as Brahman or Kutastha, then all the things are real for you. And then if they are real, then definitely questions are there. Why creation is like this? How the creation came about? What is the cause of that? Who is this individual? Who is this individual? Who is this Jiva, I mean? Etc. etc. What is Ishvara, basically? So several questions. We'll see that. So, and then all this, then fate and free will, we discussed last time also. And we say no, the Jiva is due to the karma, etc. And then karma means a prarabdha. But then this Jiva, especially the human being, has a free will also. What is the role of free will and what is the role of fate, etc. So all this, karma is a cause of a janma and janma is a cause of a karma. Karma is a cause of janma and janma is a cause of karma. If janma is not there, where is karma? But then the janma is due to karma. But then karma is due to janma. So this thing will be there. It will remain. Unanswered question. Regarding Ishvara also, several unanswered questions. Several. So we really, all the three are, everywhere, all with regard to all the three, several questions will be there. Because ultimately, all these three are really not there. That's the answer. So if we don't solve these questions, we dissolve the questions. That's the only thing we do. We don't solve questions regarding Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara. We dissolve the question into a solvent called knowledge. Knowledge of Adhisthana. That's all. That's the only thing we can do. So until we come to this Paramarthika Satyam, etc., we do have some temporary, answers. We do have. Karma theory, fate, free will theory, prarabdha, purushartha theory, etc. These are all temporary. The permanent answer is that there is no question at all of negating this Jiva Jagat. Basically there is no questioner at all. So where is the question? Nanta pragnam, na bhahish pragnam. Questioner means individual, Jiva. We say there is no Jiva at all. So the questioner itself will not remain. Really, I am laughing, but this is the thing. This is the thing. A wise person only will resort to knowing what is the reality of all the three. Other than all the people will remain asking about these questions and they keep on asking throughout the life. And fortunately, unfortunately, when they get a new birth also, they keep on asking again the same questions. No answer. No answer for a thing which is not there. No answer. If there is really something is there, then their answer also is there. If there is nothing called Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara in reality, then there is no answer also for that. So, Nanta pragnam, na vahish pragnam, na upayatah pragnam, na pragnam, etc., etc. adrishtam, avyapadesham, avyavaryam, etc., etc. So the first two pada is there in Mandukya also, well, represent this Jiva and Jagat. Third pada deals with Ishvara. Now, somebody third pada deals with that, prajna, but that is Ishvara. We have seen that. Anyway, and Chaturth pada, all three are negated. First two padas basically are Jiva and Jagat, third pada Ishvara, and in the fourth pada called Turiya, all the three are negated. And therefore, so Upanishad does this job. We can't do that way. Since we cannot answer, we don't say that they are mithya. Upanishad says this. So anyway, so Brahman is, the Veda is basically here unreal, Abheda is real, and therefore Gnatva Sada Tattvanishtan Vayam Anumodamahe. Well, whoever has come to this Advaita, etc., Tattvanishtan, who knows this Tattva, the truth of all the three, basically, and abided into that, well, knowing such people, Vayam Anumodamahe, we would welcome them. We would welcome any person who knows the reality of all the three. We would welcome them into Jivan Mukta's club. Okay? And so other people, well, definitely let them fight with each other. Where is, the relationship between Jiva and Jagat and Ishvara and Jiva and Ishvara and all that. So always fighting. Whether Satkaryavada is real or Satkaryavada is real, what is the real, etc., etc. Anyway, so that says here, Anushochama iva anyan. Anyan. So other people who are not knowing the reality of all the three and considering them, all the three as a real. Anyan. So they are all anyan. They are others. Other than this Tattvanishthas. And so, Anushochama. We really sympathize with them. Why are you sympathizing? Don't show sympathy. Try to convince them. Well, but they because they are not willing to accept the Shruti Pramana. Those who go by Shruti Pramana, they will accept because Shruti reveals it. Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara are basically mithya, and all the Dhisthana of all the three is real. That is the Atma, etc. That is the Shruti Pramana. But these people, the other people who do not accept the Shruti Pramana, etc., they go by Pratyaksha and Yukti. And therefore they will always have this problem. That is how in Brahma Sutra there is one sutra called says Tarkasya Pratishtanat. So Tarkasya Pratishtha. There is no Pratishtha. If you resort to this just logic, etc., and logic of course is based on a Pratyaksha, then there will not be any Pratishtha. Means you won't be able to gain a final answer for all the three. And therefore, so you are asking us why are you not trying to convince them, etc. Well, we don't want to waste our time because they are not going to get convinced. If they accept Shruti Pramana, then we are ready to teach them that see how these three are mithya and the Brahman alone, which is a adhisthana for all the three, is Satyam, that we are ready to teach. But if they don't accept the Pramana Shruti itself, they are not ready to accept. Then where is a question of talking to them? So Brantaihi na vivadamahe. So these people who are Bhrantas, basically they are not knowing. They are taking mithya as a Satyam. So that's a Bhranti. And therefore, na vivadamahe. We don't want to argue with them. So avivadam is basically teaching. Yeah. There is no vivada. Samvada. Samvada is there. In teaching there is a samvada. There is a question, doubt, everything. But this is vivada, not samvada. So contention is basically is the issue here. Anyway, let's go to next verse, 216. Trunarchaka adi yogantaha Ishvare bhrantimashritah lokayata adi sankhyantaha Jive vibrantimashritah. So Jive, the second line, correction should be there. Correction is there. Jave, that means if it is in your book, make it Jive. And in the first line, Ishvare, then there should be a space. Ishvare, then space, and then Bhrantimashrita. So, here Vidyaranya says now all these confused people can be classified into two groups. He's in the first line, he's showing a one group, confused people of a one group. And in a second line, he's showing a second group. So, so there is a method in madness, But here method means there is a similarity in madness also. So we have classified this basically in two groups. First is a confused people, Bhrantaha, with regard to Ishvara. Beginning from what kind of a Bhranti? Beginning from the existence of God, whether God exists or not. And if God exists, is it he is a Upadana Karanam or a Nimitta Karanam? He is just a creator remaining away from the creation, or he is really creating, or he is a part of the creation. Means he is the material also. And he is beyond the clouds, or he is down below also on this earth, etc. And whether Ishvara is a he or she, whether all these forms are of Vishnu's form, or Vishnu has a really one particular form. And is it true that the Vishnu is really resting in that Kshira Sagara, etc., Milky Ocean, etc.? And is it really true that he is there and Lakshmi ji is really serving him, etc.? So all such a question, so many questions are there regarding Ishvara. So they are Ishvara Vishayak Bhranta, one group. And then, of course, with Ishvara there are atheists, I have told you, they are also having a Bhranti. Yeah, not accepting Ishvara of their imagination. I mean, they feel that if Ishvara is there, he should be like this. And well, we don't find such an Ishvara, and therefore there is no Ishvara. So that is also a Bhranti regarding Ishvara. Ishvara is basically the Tat and Tvam is one alone. So by negating Ishvara, one is negating oneself. And one cannot negate oneself. One cannot negate oneself. Whatever you try, you cannot negate yourself. The ultimate negator cannot be negated. One who negates everything cannot be negated. Simple. That's what Taittiriya Upanishad told. And therefore, negating Ishvara is negating oneself. There is no Ishvara. There is the existence of God is negated, is equal to existence of negation of an existence of oneself, which is not possible. Anyway, and therefore ultimately, if you say God is not there, it is also Bhranti. So anyway, so basically atheist or theist have varieties of a notion regarding Ishvara. Only resolution is to know Ishvara as just oneself. That's all. The truth of Ishvara is truth of oneself. That is the thing. So if that is not understood, you have not arrived at this adhisthana by knowledge through the Shruti, etc., then several Bhrantis will be there. And then the second group will be having a confusion regarding the individual, Jiva also. Jiva Vishayak Bhranta. That has been told in the second line. And if we want, we can add a third category, Jagat Vishayak Bhranta. We can add. So what is the cause of this world, etc.? Well, the whole creation has come from basically this atom, or from wave, or from pradhanam, or from what is the cause of this world. So this cosmological study keeps on going all the time. And so what is this creation, etc.? Also there are several theories also regarding cause of creation also. So Vidyaranya says this confusion won't go ultimately. And if you study the Shastra, well, this confusion will go. Because these three are ultimately mithya. When you inquire into something which is really not there, well, then there will be a confusion. And so they give one story for that. So, in order to explain this, if you inquire into something which is really not there, then the confusion will remain. So they say this, there was a boy, then he was blindfolded. But before blindfolding, in a hall, he He was told that you stand on one side of that hall, near the wall. And then they spread certain pillows in the whole room. And they told him that you look into all these pillows. You have to cross from one side of the hall to the other side of the hall. You have to walk. We'll blindfold. We'll just put a cover on your eyes. And you should not touch a single pillow. So we are giving you 5 minutes. Just watch. Before we blindfold you, you just watch that this particular first pillow is just 3 feet away. First pillow. And it is on the right hand side. Then just 2 feet away after that will be another pillow, which is on the left hand side. Then the third pillow is just in the center, on your way itself. So you have to cross it from the side, etc. And then reach the other side of the hall. That's another wall. You should not touch. Then we'll give you a small boy. So we'll give you whatever you want. If you want a bicycle, we'll give you bicycle, whatever, this, that. And that boy watched everything, all the 3 pillows. Yeah, first pillow at just 3 feet away on the left hand side. Yeah, then after that 2 feet away, the another pillow, it's on right hand side. The third pillow is in the middle. No. And therefore, even if I will be blindfolded, I will just, I will measure in my mind the 3 feet. And then definitely I will go from the right hand side, and then I will go from the left hand side, and then I will take a side of that pillow and will not touch. And when he was blindfolded, these people removed all the 3 pillows. And then then he said, he was told, now cross. He didn't know. Boy didn't know because he was blindfolded. So he was going very slowly and with lot of caution. 3 feet. Yeah. So let me go from the right hand side. Then another 2 feet. Oh, he remembered. There is on the left. There is another pillow. After 2 feet, there is another pillow on the left hand side. So he crossed from the right hand side, and he was happy also. See, I have not touched any pillow. And then the third pillow is just in the middle. He knew it is just in my way. It is on my way only. So he went from the side like this, and all the people were seeing that and they were laughing because there was no pillow. And after reaching to the other side of the hall, then that fold was removed. And he said, yeah, I achieved moksha. And then he looked back. There was no pillow at all. This is how it is. Jiva Jagat Ishvara. You inquire and all the time remain so cautious about all the three. Inquiry. What is this Jiva? What is this Jagat? What is this Ishvara? And ultimately through Shastra inquiry you realize that all the three were not there. When you achieve this moksha, then you realize all the three were not there. For that you really had so many questions. Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara. So they were not existent at all. So this we come to know through Shastra Pramana. Well, basically. So here also it is like this. Vidyaranya gives some example. Example of some people. Like Truna Archakaha, tribal people who are worshipping a blade of grass, means this kind of form, certain. And Yogantaha, beginning from this Truna Archaka. Archaka means a worshipper. Archayati, iti Archakaha. Archa dhatu is there, to worship. Puja, Archana we say also, right? So Archaka means a worshipper. Truna Archaka, worshipping who are the worshippers of a blade of grass, means some varieties of things. Tribal people also you can say, or up to Yogantaha, up to the yoga philosophers who have exalted concept of Ishvara. Worshipping Ishvara in the form of a blade of grass or worshipping Ishvara in a form of exalted form, like yogis, they say Ishvara is a sarvagnya, sarvashaktiman, etc. Klesha karma vipaka ashahi asamsprushtaha purusha visheshaha Ishvara. This is a Yoga Sutra. Patanjali Yoga Sutra. We discussed once upon a time. When we discussed that, I also should now, I also have to remember. I don't, but we have discussed that much, I know. Anyway, So klesha karma vipaka ashayehi asamsprushtaha purusha visheshaha ishvara. These yogis define Ishvara as well, definitely, who is free from this klesha, karma and vipaka and etc. etc. Anyway, so this he is free from everything. Exalted Ishvara. And this, up to this people who are yogis and who have this exalted concept of Ishvara, and the tribal people who worship in any small form called Truna, etc. All Bhranti Mashritaha. All they are associated with the delusion. And here they, instead of yogi, they have said yoga. Yoga antaha. Yoga is equal to yogi here. Because there is a arch pratyaya. Arch pratyaya is there in a sense of a possession. So yoga and arch, so remains yoga only. But the meaning is a yogi. One who possesses yoga is a yogi. But here one who possesses yoga, one who resort to yoga, Patanjali yoga, is a yoga, also we can say. So yoga means, well, Swamiji, how you translate them as a yogi, but that is there. Ach pratyaya is there, in pratyaya is there. If I apply in pratyaya to yoga, then therefore it becomes yogin, and then prathama vibhakti becomes yogi. Yogi, yogino, yogina, etc. These are the forms. But if you, instead of in pratyaya, same possessive affix, there is another affix called ach, then yoga plus ach remains a yoga only. That chakara goes away, it's a it later. Anyway, so yoga antaha means up to these yogis, we have to say, who have an exalted concept of Ishvara. All are Bhranti Mashritaha. They are all associated with the delusion. With respect to, basically, Ishvara, they are all having a Bhranti. Delusions. And first delusion is, regarding Ishvara will be, giving a Paramathic reality to Ishvara is a confusion. Ishvara basically is a Vyavarika Satyam, right? We know, as real as the world, as real as the Jiva. But both world and Ishvara, they are definitely in a Vyavarika plane, basically. Less reality compared to Brahman. So, regarding the reality itself, there is a confusion. So, first confusion. And then second confusion is confusion of division. So, we feel that Ishvara is a creator, Jagat is a created. And, Ishvara is a create. There is another difference also. Ishvara, Jagat difference. Ishvara, Jiva difference, etc. also. That is also there with regard to Ishvara. And therefore, all this Veda is there between Ishvara and Jagat, Ishvara and Jiva. Are they real or unreal? So, this kind of all delusions are there. And we will not say such delusions is mental projections. No. Vyavarika Veda means, basically projected by Ishvara alone. And therefore, through Maya, of course. So, it has a Vyavarika projection. Vyavarika projection means this projection will remain. Mental projection will resolve. Yeah, it may be a dream, or it may be a mental projection of a snake upon a rope. That will resolve by oneself. But this projection through Ishvara, through Maya, that will not resolve. That's how it is Vyavarika. What mental projection is a Pratibhasika. But Vyavarika projection will not resolve. And therefore, Vyavarika projection means available for Vyavara to everyone. Pratibhasika mental projection is the one which is available for transaction to the individual only. And therefore, this will be that Vyavarika, even though it's a projection, but it is Vyavarika. Anyway, and then other groups are also, Vidyaranya quotes, Lokayatadi Sankyantaha. There are other groups of philosophers, etc. They have a delusion regarding Jiva also. Like Lokayata. Lokayata means our materialistic philosophers, or we call Charvakas, etc., who do not accept God at all. Don't accept heaven, they do not accept even, any travel from another loka, etc., because Jiva itself they don't accept. And they say what is not available for scientific instruments, what is not proven by scientific instruments, we will not accept. And therefore, they don't accept mind other than the brain. And so once brain is dead, means mind is gone. There is nothing called mind, they say. Sukshma Sharira. There is nothing called mind. The function of the brain it is. What you call mind is a function of brain. Well, we say no. Basically, mind survives the brain, death of the brain. So, they say no. Once the brain is dead, your mind is dead. Basically, brain is dead means function of brain is dead. So, actually, we say no. Mind survives. Jiva survives. Right? Conscious mind is Jiva. Mind is there means reflection will be there. All pervading consciousness. Mind is there, therefore reflection will be there. That's so whenever I say mind survives means Jiva survives. Conscious mind survives. That conscious mind enters into Sukshma Sharira, enters into other gross body. Therefore, there the vasanas manifest, etc. Tam vidya karmani samanvara bhete puru prajna cha. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad told this. Tam vidya karmani samanvara bhete puru prajna. So vidya, karma and prajna, puru vasanas, all this samanvara bhete, when another birth takes place, all the three will manifest. So vasanas manifest, this karma also will manifest. All these things manifest, and therefore invisible mind survives, travels. But this Lokayataka Charvakas don't believe. They say you cannot prove the existence of mind independent of brain. Try to prove. We cannot prove. Sukshma Sharira, how will you prove? Sukshma Sharira is not available for scientific instruments. Proving through scientific instruments. And therefore, they say then we won't accept. So Jiva. So regarding Jiva who is distinct from this Deha, who is there in Deha during life, but then he survives the death of the body, etc. They don't accept. So regarding Jiva, they have a Bhranti, I am saying. So these are another group who have a delusion regarding Jiva. First group we discussed regarding, regarding Ishvara, they have a confusion. So basically, Lokayatakas don't accept it. So there is no proof that mind is traveling, etc. They say all these Brahmanas, etc., they want to have this dakshinas and so many other materials, etc. And they have created this 13 days business. After the person goes away, actually nothing goes away, but these people have created. Who? Brahmins have created that the jiva has gone, and now for 13 days he needs something, on the way he is traveling, going to another, during the travel he needs lot of things. And so for 13 days we have to do several rituals and do all this kind of things. And several materials are offered, and then money, dakshina, etc. So these Brahmins have created all this business, actually. They were basically unemployed. They could not do anything, right? And therefore they got the employment like this. This is all Lokayatikas. Charvakas say like this. Sankhyas are, even Sankhyas are, they are worse than even this. They are logicians also, right? So they accept Veda Pramana, and yet they don't accept Paramatma, etc. They say all jivas are there, and there also every jiva is basically is limitless, etc. Some theory. Well, we may perhaps deal with that in sixth system of philosophy, but basically they don't accept Paramatma. Well, so only jivatmas are there. There is no Paramatma. So, Sankhya's also basically have this confusion, regarding jivas and Ishvara and what is the relationship and all this. So, Lokayatadi Sankhyantaha Vibhrantim Ashritaha. And so, regarding jiva also, basically Sukshma Sharira alone. And with reflected consciousness, he was jiva. But they say jiva is limitless. Jivas are many and jivas are limitless. Every jiva is limitless. How it is, they only can explain. We can't explain. Okay. Jivas are many and every jiva is limitless. Sarvavyapi. We don't know how it is. And there is no Paramatma at all. So regarding jiva, Sankhyas also have a Bhranti, Lokayatikas also have a Bhranti. So they are affected by delusion. Jive means Jiva Vishay. Here, seventh case. Ishvara means Ishvara Vishay. With regard to Ishvara. Jive, with regard to Jiva. Is called Vishay Saptami. Or sometimes we can call it as Adhikarana Saptami also. Well, with regard, on Jiva, there are all these confusions. Better is a Vishay Saptami rather than Adhikarana Saptami. 217, I'm sorry. Advitiya Brahma Tattvam na jananti yada tada branta eva khilas tesham pamukti kveha va sukham. What is common to both groups? Well, both are obsessed with this Jiva inquiry or Ishvara inquiry. Because their conclusions are there, therefore they have inquired into. But basically, that their inquiry itself is a confusion because Jiva is not there. And that is how what is not there and you keep on inquiring, ultimately you won't get an answer. What you get is all confusion. But they have come to this kind of conclusions regarding Jiva, regarding Ishvara, etc. So, they are basically involved into this Vyavarika Satyam, and Pratyaksha Pramana can't basically take them to this Paramarthika. Ultimately, Jiva is Paramarthically is Brahman. Jagat also is Brahman. Ishvara also is Brahman. That's the reality of all the three. And they inquire through Pratyaksha and Tarka, etc. Well, that is not going to work. Sankhya's basically resort to Tarka. We call them Tarkikas. We call Nayayikas, Vaisheshikas, Sankhya's, all we call them Tarkikas. Bhashyakara call them. Bhashyakara call them Ete Tarkikaha Ahuhu. He quotes like that. These are all resorting. If you really take into account the Shruti Pramana and try to understand the Shruti Pramana through logic, it is a Shruti Sammata Tarka. Then we will not call them Tarkika. But Shruti says something and you ignore them. Call yourself as Astika, take Veda as a Pramana also, but then you basically want to see the statements of the Upanishad in your own way. If you find little different, then different than your philosophy, different than your belief, then you ignore Vedic statements. Then how you are a Vedika, basically. And then you basically try to prove through your logic, which is not there in the Shruti. Jiva is not Anantam. Where is it Jiva is Anantam? And if Jiva is Anantam, we say it's in Lakshartha it is Anantam. Jiva is Brahman and therefore Brahman is Anantam. That's another thing. But you don't have that patience. And therefore, they are basically going through Pratyaksha, etc. and Tarka. And therefore, you cannot arrive at this Paramarthika reality also. So, all these sciences basically, maybe physics or biology or chemistry or any science, do not have any access to this Paramarthika reality, Brahman, etc. And therefore, and even advanced reasoning like Tarka, etc. or even Karma Kanda and Upasana, etc. also have no access. Basically, the Shastra means Upanishad, etc. is a saving grace for us. So, these people, Advitiya Brahma Tattvam na jananti. They never know that beyond this relative world, etc., there is an absolute principle they do not know. And as long as they do not know, well, they remain in this samsara. Well, and then they will have issues, all, which is a part of samsara. So basically, several issues will be there. Tada, and so long, Branta, many questions they have regarding Jiva and Ishvara, etc. And for them, he says, Brantaha eva akhilaha, they are all Brantaha. Tesham kwa muktihi. For them, where is this liberation? And kwa ihava sukham. And where is the sukham also? There is no sukham, because there is no mukti. Mukti is there. But if you know that you are mukta, then there is mukti. Where is the mukti otherwise? You cannot become mukta. That's becoming sukha, becoming happy also. That is a very becoming of, happy is unbecoming. Is unbecoming because you keep on searching that. You will never arrive at this happiness. Becoming happy means you are ignoring what is the truth. You are happiness, but you ignore that. And then there is no question of gaining happiness. Once you miss, well, then there is no question that you arrive at. And therefore, this all, kvava sukham, there is no sukham also here. And kva mukti, where is this liberation? No liberation at all, after even death also. This, we don't have two kinds of muktis, frankly speaking. Mukti is one. We say Jivan Mukti and Videya Mukti, etc. Because people have a question whether this such a person who gains this knowledge will come back or not. When that kind of question is there, we say no. Once he is free. He is Brahman right now. Then where is the question of becoming Brahman and getting freedom after death? Right now he is Brahman. On the Brahman you superimpose something due to ignorance, that has gone now. Ignorance has gone, and therefore ignorance born delusion has gone. Taking yourself Jiva has gone now. Karta Bhokta has gone now. And therefore you are Brahman now itself. You were Brahman in fact. And you are Brahman and you will be Brahman. So where is question of some another mukti after death, etc. And what is death? If there is no death of a person at all. Person is Brahman. Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. See, it's so clear. Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. The knower of Brahman is Brahman. So he in his understanding, he is not a person. He says, I am Brahman. He may assume various roles because of the prarabdha, the body, etc. is there, and therefore, an identification. Well, mithya identification with the body, etc. is there, like a actor has an identification with the particular role. Well, he may assume. But in his understanding, he never sees other than Brahman. That is Brahmanishtha. And therefore, where is question of after death again merging into Brahman? Where is merging into Brahman? So there are some kind of union after death. No. I mean, Videya Mukti, there is no call. Since we say that what will happen to him, will he take birth or not again, and this and that. So we say, no, he will not have another birth again. I mean, he won't be born again. So basically, Mukti is one only. When you are free, you know. That's a freedom. That's all. There is no other Mukti. You know that you are free. That's all. Anyway, so this is okay. So basically, ihaloke sukham api nasti. So they don't have even these people, the Bhrantas, they do not have Videya Mukti, Jivan Mukti, no, then therefore there is no Sukha also. Mukti and Sukha goes together. Happiness and independence go together. Wherever there is independence, there is a joy. That's all. Whenever you feel that there is independence, any kind of a bondage means dukkha. Any kind of bondage. So this is how sarvam paravasham dukkham bhavati, svavasham sukham bhavati. That's how they say. Sarvam svavasham sukham bhavati, paravasham dukkham bhavati. Paravasham. When you are dependent upon something, there is a dukkha only. No one likes dependency. So anyway, so kva muktihi kvava iha sukham. Where is the mukti and where is sukha here? Then also if you get lost into this tat tvam pada vachyartha, taking Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara as real, well then there is no question of arriving at this mukti, because ultimately the adhishthanam of all the three which is real is yourself. And therefore, if you take yourself as just an individual, as a real, then Jagat also is different, Ishvara is different, etc. No, I don't want moksha. Okay, Dirghayushman Bhava. Okay? And therefore, okay, live long. Okay? So this is a answer to them. Anyway, we'll see further later. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.